All right, we're back. Another episode of Excellent Adventures. Right now, we have urban farmer Shai. Is it Shai or Shai?
It's Shai.
It's Shai. Okay, we got it right the first time. No need for corrections. We have a first. So a first time someone said, I'm in the middle of a potato harvest, but we still gonna knock this episode out. And I absolutely love it. We've had somebody hold a goat. We've had somebody sitting with a cow. We've never had somebody in the middle of potato harvest. So thank you for being our first.
Hey, not a problem. Thanks for having me.
For those who are not familiar with your movement, I just want to put everybody up on game. I really love the things that you post. A lot of uplifting stuff, a lot of real posts. You took us to Ecuador. You've taken us to different places. You've taught us how to plant things and your journey in getting into this. You've also been really open and honest about your situation too, and giving folks hope that have been through domestic violence situations. So shout out to all the purple posts you put up. But thank you for all of those things. But let's get right into it. Let's kind of talk about your story. Let's talk about all these potatoes in the background. Let's go ahead and jump that off to get the elephant out the room or the spuds out the room. Let's address them anyway. Not get them out, but let's address the spuds in the room. I saw the post for you guys on the tractor. You pulling up potatoes and naming these different potatoes and stuff like that. What goes into a potato harvest?
A lot of sweat equity. To say the least, a lot of sweat equity, but with that sweat equity, you definitely have to have a positive attitude about it. So where I'm at right now, I'm currently located in Surrey, Virginia, home of Slade Roots Farms. Shout out to Cliff Slade. He's taken me under as a mentee, just learning more about agriculture, taking it from an urban aspect and taking it to a large scale. He is a supplier to another seed company, Southern Exposure Seed Exchange, supplying their sweet potato slips in the spring. So shout out to SESC for all the hard work and efforts that they put out there in the community as well. But I was afforded this opportunity to come back at a second season. First season, I was an intern. Second season, I'm now a paid employee. Just because for the love of the land. I wanted to learn more. Taking a course with Virginia State University. Shout out to them with their Urban Ag Sustainable course. And with taking that 12-week course in the classroom, they had a request of 80 internship hours going around the state of Virginia working on various different farms. Because I live in a city, a lot of different farms are relatively far from me. It takes me 45 minutes just to get here every day. I chose this location because it was close. And because it was close, to say the least. And when my schedule freed up for me to knock these hours out, he was in the middle of planting garlic as well as harvesting his potatoes. Okay. So it just made sense. Cliff has a 500 plus acreage farm. Majority of it is certified USDA organic. So, shout out to him for taking that step and efforts to keeping his land pure. As well as a campground. So we get to come out here, pitch our tents, put up the RVs and, hang out and have fun. And this is my second home. My little people, they come out here with me. First week of harvest, they get out one day of school, and the Busher boys, they get to work. My son is 12, my other one is 8, and they get busy. And they also understand, the work that they're doing, who they're helping, and having the opportunity for whatever's left over, they can take home and turn around and sell it to the community as well. So in short, this is how I got out here to Slade's Farm.
Tell me how, when was the switch for you to go into, because you put it out there, urban farmer. When was the switch for you to go into getting your hands in the dirt and getting into the soil and stuff like that?
I had a lot of free time on my hands. Just like what you shared, I'm pretty candid with my story. I'm on full Social Security disability. So I typically can't go back into the type of industries that I've worked in before in project management and tech. It takes too much on the mind at this point in age in dealing with what I deal with. So my grandmother, she always tells me, get out there in the soil, plant you a garden. You remember how you used to love it getting out there with your granddaddy and doing it. So why don't you do it for yourself? COVID hit. So now I'm like, dang, what do I do now? So my husband was like, okay, you can take this little spot, get you some buckets and see what you can do. Well, seeing what I can do manifested into me having this opportunity right here.
Right. Now you got 5 million potatoes behind you. See what you could do. I
Yeah.
love this. I love the progressive and progression story and taking back control of your mind. And I love to hear these types of things because there are so many people dealing with stresses and dealing with traumatic experiences, and they don't know the next step. And going outside could be that step for them.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of people don't have the resources available to pay for talk therapy. A lot of people don't have access to resources to pay for group therapy.
Mm,
Um, at one point in time, I was an individual who had that availability to pay for it, but because I wasn't considered indigent, income status wise, I wasn't allowed to participate in those programs because my insurance wouldn't allow it.
mm,
Fast forward, a few years later, losing that job, becoming homeless with my children, getting back on the up and up in terms of working on my mind, I began to look outdoors, getting reconnected back with nature, meeting my husband. That just changed everything for us. And then just being able to really do what I said I wanted to do as a child, which was farm, but always keeping in my head what my grandma Nancy always tells me, and we still talk about it to this day. I'm thankful that she's still here and will be here in 2 weeks, her and my granddad, to see what I'm doing.
beautiful.
So I take that and try to share that message with other people because they don't have access to it. And when it got to a point I no longer had access to it because of COVID, I had to find something different. And when you find something different, sometimes you become different.
I love it. And I know in firsthand experience, it's extremely therapeutic just being outside, dealing with my chickens, dealing with all these animals. I'm just now starting to plant things. Like I grew up a pumpkin by accident. I think I've told everybody this. So now I'm about to get into the dirt too. But it seems very therapeutic and it changes things. Have you seen it bring the family closer together too?
To a degree, my little people, it's a little fight with them sometimes.
Right. I got a
So
love-hate relationship with doing the work.
yeah, doing the work, but because we have the chickens, we had goats at one point in time. I'm kind of telling on myself with this one, but it is what it is. The goats, the chickens, we have ducks now. So I tried to make it engaging with them, like we're not going to eat them as far as the ones that aren't meat birds, but these are our friends, these are our family. So we let them out, they chase them, they invite the neighborhood kids over to see them, and like, oh, this is better than bluebird. We get to actually touch them, we get to see them, we get to pick them up. So I try to get my little people engaged in ways that doesn't turn them off
Yeah.
to nature, to agriculture, or to the garden, and making it fun for everybody. And when it comes to my husband, when there's opportunities for him to make a few extra dollars helping me, it gets done.
Why not? That's so incredible. Tell me about the food though. Since you started growing your own, how big of a difference has that made with diet and everything?
It's made a big difference. I cringe when I have to go to the grocery store and purchase produce.
Mm,
And I had to catch myself ranting, picking and choosing, and then other people are doing the same thing. And then I began to engage in that conversation with them, like, hey, what are you doing at home to, offset some of these costs? What are you doing at home to offset the disgusting look of these peppers that I wouldn't even feed to my compost? Like,
right.
what are some of the things that you're doing? But it's the taste profile is so different. Being able to just go out there and pick it if I want it, and if I don't need it, I know it's just going to get a little bit bigger. And if it gets too big, fine, I'll save it for seed and give it to the birds later.
Mm-hmm.
It's different, and even with raising our own meats, the taste is so different because it's being processed in a humane way, a loving way. I sing a little song when I process my birds,
Okay.
thanking them for their existence and for their gift of continued life and energy that theirs is now passing from them, but continuing on with my family. So
Mm-hmm.
everything has definitely changed, and even how my little people, even my husband, how they look at things, um, is totally different. So like, yeah, it's changed everybody.
It definitely gives me a deeper sense of appreciation for where my food is coming from, but that taste profile is absolutely, it's just so much better.
Oh yeah, I couldn't agree with you more.
Mhm. Tell me about partnerships. Like right now, you said you started out as an intern and now you have an opportunity to make a couple of bucks while you still learn on the go.
Hmm.
Tell me about your community now. How has that changed and how does that work? Because I know mine has changed dramatically. I'm coming from an entertainment world where social media is extremely toxic and some of the people are too. But now that I'm in more of an agricultural space as well, it seems like the grass is greener over there, pun intended.
It's I will say the ag world is very small.
Yeah.
You never know who knows somebody, and you never know who has beef with somebody.
Oh, we're not talking about cows.
Yeah, no, I know, but all puns
No, I know
intended.
what you mean, right? Yeah.
But but just with moving around the southeast region, the coastal region, and then the central parts of Virginia, I've met some awesome people who are doing some phenomenal things, and I couldn't credit it more to the opportunity with having that externship and working those 80 hours in a couple of different locations. With me putting myself out there, saying, "Hey, I am a returning farmer. I don't have any land. Can I come play on yours?
Yeah.
you know, tell me what I can do to help you." And because I show that drive, that initiative, in my late age of 40, not age 40, but midlife crisis or whatever some would say, some awesome opportunities have been presented before me. With the volunteering that I do when I'm not here working, awesome opportunities have somehow mingled or connected or worked together to open up some doors that I never thought would actually open up for me. You mentioned the trip to Ecuador. One of the gentlemen that was on the tour with us is an extension agent,
Mm.
and he works with the farmers that I work with. And he, in conversation, I came up about the trip, and oh, you went on the trip. Well, how was she? Blah blah blah. I'm out there getting the hoe, planting seeds. Just that same energy and drive. So putting myself again out there, it's opened up so many different opportunities with people to say, hey, we have a young Black woman who's interested in ag. By the way, she's bringing her kids along with her that's also interested in ag. Oh, by the way, she has other people who are also interested in ag that she's bringing along with her. They might come for one or two visits, but at least that seed has initially been planted.
That's dope because you get to see a person's I guess work through their work per se in this segment a little bit more. Like you said, it's word of mouth. People know each other. They're gonna run. Almost everybody that's growing something is gonna run through the extension office one way or another, whether it's getting a soil test or just having a conversation or seeing what resources are available. And then your name is ringing because you're putting in the work and really wanting to learn. And I think that goes a very, very long way because you can't really lie on that resume.
No, you can't, and it would be pretty difficult to do so. The farming industry is a difficult industry. And what I mean by a difficult industry, it's keeping the people motivated to continue to come back day in and day out. And not necessarily in terms of the farmers, but the people who support the farmers, the paid seasonal workers, the documented migrant workers, the people who just want to come out and volunteer because they heard about an awesome place called Paradise, aka Slave Foods Farm, and they want to just see what it's about and be able to get their hands deep into the soil
Mhm.
and be able to get reconnected to the earth, even just for a couple of hours on a Sunday afternoon.
So the people connection is just as important as trying to get the plants and everything grown and do everything the right way because you're gonna need that sweat equity from others and that buy-in from them. And if they have a good time, they're coming back.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's all about building that community connection.
Mm.
One thing that Mr. Cliff Slade is big on, there's where there's fair exchange, there's no robbery. So
Hmm.
anytime he has a group of community volunteers coming out to his farm, putting in that sweat equity, he's always going to send them home with a token of his appreciation, whether it's a small bundle of garlic seeds. He does sell the jumbo garlic seeds, a small bushel of potatoes, or a few dollars just to help out on the gas, just to get back across the water. Because again, it is a drive.
Right. Man, you gotta love something like that. Everybody wants their quote unquote boss or whoever's giving them an opportunity to show appreciation as well. Because we
Oh
all got
yeah.
to work together, like you said, community. That's real community.
Oh yeah, for sure. And with being able to have that community built, I'm able to take the information back across the water to the urban sector where there is an increased awareness, or I should say, a hyper focus on getting connected back to the land, recultivating their monocrop grass and turning it back into native landscaping, planting more pollinator flowers, or for my personal favorite, an edible landscape where
Mm.
you're taking things that people wouldn't necessarily think that are edible, but look pretty, but you can also eat it at the same time.
Let's dive into that a little bit because that's kind of one of the things that you push a lot on your page. Tell people what an edible garden is, and then some of those things that you were just mentioning. Let's get some examples.
All right, so edible landscaping. Bluntly put, to getting rid of your fugly ass grass and turning it into a culture or an ecosystem that everybody can thrive in. And what I mean by everybody can thrive in, not only yourself, but I'm also talking about your native pollinators. Your
Mm.
everybody doesn't like the carpenter bees, but the carpenter bees serve a purpose.
Hmm.
Nobody likes mosquitoes, but the mosquitoes serve a purpose.
Please tell me
Um,
what their purpose is. I'm just kidding.
you, you know what? When the kids and I found a book that we said that we were going to read in a couple of weeks, just a little
Mm.
busy right now because I got homework and stuff. So over Thanksgiving break, I'll let you know. But yeah,
That's a
just
bit.
just so many different things, and then once you clear your space of that grass and you allow nature to do nature, the earth will begin to give you back things that your body actually needs. May not necessarily be for you, but it could be for somebody else. So for me, because of the things that I've gone through in life, I deal or dealt with a lot of stress and anxiety. So when we began to convert our greenscape into a foodscape and left the land alone for a few months, it began to produce mugwort.
Mm.
Mugwort, I like using it because when mom gets super overstimulated, I'm like, all right, going outside, coming back in the house. I've got my herbs, thrown in a pot, going back outside, going in the chicken coop, and I'm having a quick 20-minute break to myself. At
Mhm.
that point, all right, let's talk about it. What did your sister do to you again? Uh, so that's one of the things that I educate people on leaving a small space in your space to allow nature to do nature. See what's going to happen.
Mm.
See what happens when the sun transitions throughout the season, and see if it gets bigger. See if it begins to die back. Especially if you're wanting to plant more things that you're wanting to have established, more perennials. Again, perennials are something that you would plant once and it'll continue to come back year after year. So in my case, I've gotten a little bit of a rush, and there are some things that I need to reposition, like some hibiscus, lemon verbena, and some lemongrass.
Mm.
But it's these are things that will aid me and my family, but also look pretty to the city of where I live and not get fined again.
I get it. They got to leave you alone. We're gonna start petitioning.
Oh yeah, hashtag urban farms matter. Like they have to understand that with the way things are going, people are going to do more of what I'm doing.
Hmm. I agree.
And I'm running into more people who are wanting to transform their monocrop green space into an edible landscape. And they're not exactly sure which direction they should go, and or if the city will come against them for doing so while in construction. Because it does take time.
Well, they need to go to Urban Farmer Shay's page. That's where I went. That's how I found out about lemongrass. I started doing my own research to see all of the health benefits that came with it, and I was kind of shocked.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of information out there in terms of what you can incorporate into your landscape. I would suggest that people would first do your research as to what it is that you're wanting to grow. Look at how much space that you would need and determine if you even have that space. And then, two, go on a sun tracker website and map your sun pattern. That way you can determine what you're wanting to plant, if that's going to be the best spot for you to plant it. Because again, I planted some stuff that I thought was going to do just fine in complete full sun. nah, I have to move them to another location that's not going to get it all the time.
Great information as always. That's why we wanted you to come on to the show for real and give us some of that insight and all the stuff that you got going on. What is the goal for you? Like, if you could say, okay, I could do anything, I had my wish to do anything I wanted to do and be where I wanted to be. What does that look like for you?
Uh, if I have my wish to be anywhere where I want to be, that would that would be down in Ecuador. That that trip changed my life. You hear me?
Hello.
There's we've been looking, um not more so not playing with the idea, but like making progress with the idea,
Mm-hmm.
uh, on some things, setting up a eco, health retreat center, with some acreage where we're going to be able to be self-sustaining with, farming our own fish, raising our own poultry, small game, as well as small remnants, fruit trees, the whole shebang. But also being able to have that as a location where individuals will be able to come and heal,
Mm-hmm.
um, being able to be reconnected to mind, body, and soul, because that's something that people have a little bit of a disconnect. Even within myself, I have to check and balance myself on certain things and situations that I'm going through or currently going through. Even with my children, I'll tell them, get them in, go outside and touch grass. Right up that, go chase one of them chickens so you can like get back into whoever you are, because right now I don't know you. But
Right,
if
right.
if if I could do that, I would be there, and then also being able to teach individuals, permaculture, who want to be able to get out of the country and, experience what that's like, but not necessarily charging what some other, groups charge, but
Mhm.
making it affordable for people who look like you and I.
Yeah, and we need that. We need to experience different cultures, touch different soil, and see how other people live, and then we start kind of reprioritizing what is really important.
Oh yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, because when you step outside the box, then that's when you're able to see everything.
Hmm.
And when you begin to see everything, you're able to begin to put things back into perspective and how it relates to you. Because when it's all said and done, it's really about perception, but you cannot see the true perception until you step away from it for a few minutes.
You preaching today.
Well, I don't have the choir with me, but you might hear the ducks in the background.
There we go. I love it. I see a lot of potatoes. And how many days does that harvest take? And like how well, okay, yeah. Yeah, that's a whole lot of potatoes.
Oh, it's plenty more.
How long does a harvest of like that take? And how many, like roughly, by how many acres is that?
So right now we are working on a 5 acre lot.
Hmm.
Um, and we've been at this since last Tuesday, Monday, Sunday.
Okay.
No, Sunday, last Sunday, because I was busy Friday when they started plowing it. So about a week and a half. Been at it for about a week and a half.
Okay.
And then after this, and we still have another 3 acres, to get on the organic side of the farm. And then from there, we get into garlic planting. So, all in all, it's about a 3 to 4 week process.
Will the garlic be going in on the same acres as the potatoes? Or are we pulling up potatoes and then planting garlic and then kind of like rotating it?
There is some crop rotation going on. The plot where the potatoes are being pulled, I believe, are going in on the 3 acre plot, but not on the five. And there's another plot, I'm told, we're planting in on the organic side. They just need to clear, but there is multiple different types of, crop rotation that does go on here at the farm. Anywhere from, a grain being, planted down, or they'll throw, native wildflower seeds down, to help keep that soil fresh.
Okay. We learning something new, and that's why we wanted to get you on. Thank you so much. I'm not gonna hold you. Proverbially, you're on the clock, proverbial clock right now, so I don't want to hold you too long. But we appreciate the insight and the information. Make sure you guys follow her at Urban Farmer Shai on Instagram. I think that's where we found you at. Are you on Facebook and TikTok and stuff as well?
I am on TikTok. Let me I'm on there, but I'm not like crazy active just because my time
Got you.
it doesn't allow it. But Turf Urban Farmer Shay or Farmer Shay Urban. Hold on, what is that tag? Farmer Shay. I need to change that. But yeah, Farmer Shay over on TikTok. I'm on Facebook, but I try to keep that just for close family and friends. I've been encouraged to open or start a business page or community page. I just haven't gotten around to do it, mostly because I'm trying to help Mr. Slade
Right.
build up his community presence and the different things that he's wanting to do, which most in particular is teaching people how they can keep their chickens safe from aerial hawks and whatnot. So, yeah.
Well, I'll be staying tuned to that too, because we're about to move to some way more open acreage, and I want to keep my birds safe as well.
Oh yeah, that's the goal. Once we start raising our feathered babies, we get a little bit attached to them, and we want to keep them.
We named them. We got to keep them alive.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Once again, we appreciate you coming on the show. Make sure you guys follow her, Urban Farmer Shay. And this is another episode of Excellent Adventures with your boy Reece. Appreciate y'all for watching.
Bye, everybody.